It's about to be cut off because I took my credit card off because I found out that Towanda has been using my credit card to pay her phone bill.
My phone bill?
Official Towanda Braxton's name just hit the Fed's radar sources close to the FBI's Atlanta field office. Claimed Towanda's recent bankruptcy case wasn't just financial mismanagement. It's being treated as potential bankruptcy fraud after new documents surface, linking unreported income and property transfers. I remember scrolling through social media platforms when that leak first dropped. Everyone was tagging Tamar Braxton, asking if she was the one who tipped the feds off. And honestly, the timing looked way too convenient. A fan put it perfectly. While displaying them receipts, y'all stopped thinking, Tamar Braxton is crazy. Her sister Towanda listed her as a creditor. That was a gift lie. That one post blew up overnight. By morning, the feds were already reviewing the 2019 Chapter 7 filing in which Towanda listed Tamar as owing $35,000 a loan Towanda insists was a gift. But now investigators say that a single line on a bankruptcy form could qualify as a false declaration, which is a federal offense under Section 18 U.S.
I know where you live because I put down your down payment.
You sure did. Thank you so much for
And
that.
now that
Thank
you
you
got
so
this
much for the
accident,
gift.
give me my money back. That was not a gift.
Mr. Guy. Yes, it was. But it's
no, you
okay.
didn't.
C-152. Now here's where it gets wild. The warrant wasn't just about her bank account. Insiders claim Towanda's Georgia. Property transferred to her husband's name might have been a move to hide assets from the trustee. The same home. Tamara allegedly paid a down payment on something she reminded Towanda about on camera, and get this. During an old Braxton Family Values taping, Tamar didn't hold anything back when she said, I know where you live because I paid the down payment. And fans swear that line hits different now that the case is unfolding. What used to sound like simple sister shade suddenly looks like a breadcrumb the feds paid attention to, because right after that episode aired, insiders claim the FBI subpoenaed credit line records tied directly to that same address. That's when investigators allegedly uncovered the phone bill situation, and the streets have been talking ever since. One fan even snapped, Towanda so nasty, paying 6 phone lines for 12 months for 4 years, and a $35,000 home loan. Girl, I'd never speak to you again. And that comment had the whole internet arguing. At first, people thought viewers were just being extra. But things shifted once folks learned the FBI's actual paperwork mentions long-term recurring phone service charges under Tamar's name.
What you steal?
Stealing and helping?
But what you steal?
I don't steal anything.
You don't?
What I stole?
You sold men.
Who's the man that I stole?
Tony's.
Suddenly, what looked like regular family drama started looking like a full paper trail, and that's when the vibe went from messy to straight up suspicious. And the wildest part is this isn't even Towanda's first run-in with the law. If you check her history, she was arrested back in 2005 in Atlanta for forgery and theft by receiving a charge that basically disappeared over time. But apparently the FBI never forgot, and this new case made that old situation crawl right back out the shadows. Now the fandom is split in half, asking the question nobody wants to touch. Did Tamar actually report her own sister? Or is someone else feeding the feds everything they need? Because those 2019 bank statements didn't show up by magic, and investigators don't move unless someone hands them solid receipts. And with Tamar's name trending again next to FBI witness, people can't tell if this was sibling payback or straight up self-protection. But before anyone jumps to conclusions, there's a lot more to break down, especially the part where Towanda allegedly pulled Tamar and even Tony into her financial mess without their permission. Right after news of Towanda's situation hit the blogs, the streets immediately started whispering Tamar's name. And it wasn't random chatter either.
I'm not supposed to say anything. The only thing that brings us together is the cameras.
People noticed the timeline lining up a little too perfectly, and that's when things started looking suspicious. Just days before the federal audit allegedly locked onto Towanda's file, Tamar dropped a series of cryptic tweets, now deleted, that fans swear sounded like she was tired of dealing with her sister's stories. And it didn't help that TMZ reported back in 2019 that Towanda owed Tamara $35,000, calling it a personal loan, while Towanda insisted it was a gift. That one disagreement is now sitting at the center of the FBI's case because listing a family loan as a gift, or flipping the story on your liabilities, becomes a false declaration under bankruptcy rules. But what really sent fans into a frenzy was this part. Tamar allegedly provided proof of the payment transfers when investigators asked for documentation. According to someone close to the Braxton circle, Tamar's legal team confirmed she had full financial correspondence showing the money was wired straight into Towanda's escrow account for that home down payment. And that brings everyone back to that moment on camera when Tamar said, "I know where you live because I paid the down payment," a line that suddenly hits way harder now that investigators are digging through the paperwork. That moment wasn't just loud reality TV drama. Now it's looking like that line might have been straight up real evidence, and that's why people believe Towanda quickly shifted her Georgia house into her husband's name right after the bankruptcy paperwork went in. The feds get intense when someone starts moving assets in the middle of a case, and that's exactly how people end up caught under the concealment of property clause. But what really made fans side-eye everything was an old resurfaced Braxton family values clip where Tamar confronted Towanda about a cease and desist letter she said she never even got. Tamar looked her dead in the face and said, "I know where you live because I paid the down payment. You've been stealing from me for years," and the whole room shifted instantly. Then Towanda fired back with, "Girl, you stole Tony's man, don't even start with me." And that comeback flipped the conversation into something way darker. After that episode aired again, fans started piecing together old rumors about Tamar allegedly being involved with Tony's ex-husband, Carrie Lewis, and even Jermaine Dupri's father, Michael Malden, turning the drama from simple money issues into straight betrayal, emotional and financial. And here's the part that has everyone in shock. The same reality TV footage that once boosted the family's fame might now be used as federal evidence if investigators think it supports their timeline.
I can't wait to
I won't
see it.
be able to be there. That's why I was calling you.
That made me very sad.
I know.
An insider claims Tamar's camp didn't turn her sister in directly, but they did hand over every receipt the investigators requested, cooperating with the questions the FBI had. Still, social media isn't convinced by the innocent witness angle, and people keep arguing that something about the timing feels way too perfect to be coincidence. A fan tweeted, "Tamara is not perfect by far, but Towanda telling Tony to call the police and press charges is a little extreme." And that comment had the whole timeline arguing. Even Tamar herself revealed plain as day that the Braxtons only stick together when the cameras are rolling. Off camera, she said it's straight up war. What's wild is how their real life and their reality TV storyline blended into one huge investigation, with every old episode looking like a clue now. Every on-air argument, every petty moment, even that sarcastic, "that was a gift" line suddenly feels like it might have been part of a bigger paper trail investigators took seriously. But the thing that really made the situation feel dark wasn't the money. It was the level of betrayal behind it all.
Remember Tony said she was going to do the bridal shower? Mm-hmm. She's not doing the bridal shower. Somebody else is making sure everything is right for the bridal shower. I mean, I just thought that everybody would be, you know what I'm saying, happy and excited and wanting to be a part of it and want to be involved, but I'm not getting any of that, and that makes me sad.
Yeah.
Fans think Tamar only cooperated with investigators to protect her own name before she ended up getting dragged into the same legal chaos. And honestly, the timing makes that theory sound real possible. By the time news of Towanda's arrest hit every gossip page, an old rumor resurfaced that shook everybody. The one claiming she stole her own mother's SSI check. That came straight from Tony Braxton's former assistant, Zoe, who exposed it on his podcast back in 2020, calling Towanda evil for it and saying she once stole Evelyn's social security check. His exact words were, "When you can steal SSI checks, I don't know what to say to a person when you're that thirsty, that evil," and that clip went viral all over again. And that wasn't even the only thing. Reports confirmed Towanda was arrested in 2005 in Atlanta for forgery and theft by receiving, which makes this new FBI probe look way less like a misunderstanding and way more like a pattern investigators couldn't ignore. If you've been watching Braxton Family Values since the early days, you already know money problems were always hiding in the background. But this time, the fallout hits way deeper than a regular sister argument. When federal fraud charges collide with years of trust issues, the whole Braxton legacy starts feeling like it's cracking from the inside out. Even Tony, the calm one, the peacemaker, ended up in headlines after that viral clip where she canceled on Towanda's event over the phone. And fans swear that moment wasn't about scheduling at all. People said it was Tony creating distance, maybe even protecting her own name and her own finances from whatever storm might be heading toward Towanda. And honestly, who could blame her when the FBI's Financial Crimes Unit is allegedly digging around your family's paperwork? The last thing anyone wants is their own accounts pulled into discovery or their own statements questioned just because their sibling might be involved in something messy. But what hit me the hardest was how the sister's silence suddenly felt like a strategy instead of a coincidence. Trina used to post family selfies, sisterhood captions, and all that sweet stuff. Now it's radio silence, not even a repost, not even a subtle reaction. And when the news dropped, that silence spoke louder than any statement they could have released. Then you've got fans online connecting dots they probably shouldn't be connecting, but the patterns look way too close for comfort, and people can't help diving deeper into the drama. One person wrote, "So Tony thinks it's all right to help out the family, even if it means they are stealing from you." Allegedly charging 6 phone lines for 4 years. And that's coming from the same person who didn't think she should have to pay them to sing background. And that comment had everybody arguing in the replies. The problem is the Braxton brand was built on loyalty and a clean image, not constant money drama. Yet every time they try to move as a unit, something tied to finances ends up ripping them apart again, and fans are tired of pretending it's coincidence. From Tamar's public mental health struggles to Tony's tax issues to Tracy's heartbreaking passing, it feels like whenever the cameras turn off, the real story shows up fast. And even though Towanda has stayed silent online since the arrest, court watchers noticed something huge buried in her filings. She listed $277,000 in assets, but $547,000 in liabilities, including a $50,000 Tesla she was allegedly still driving on the show. And the math had everybody confused. One fan said it best, somebody with $150 in their account shouldn't be driving a $50,000 Tesla. Something's not right. And honestly, that line sent the whole internet into detective mode. Now that the feds are reviewing everything from phone bills to property deeds, insiders are claiming Towanda could be facing up to 5 years in prison if she's proven guilty of lying on those financial disclosures. And while Tamar's camp hasn't made any official statements, people keep saying sometimes the truth doesn't need a press release, it speaks for itself. That idea alone made the internet explode, because if the truth ends up being that Tamar quietly handed evidence to investigators, this might go down as one of the biggest family betrayals reality TV has ever seen. And it doesn't stop here, because there's another twist coming, one that connects Tony's silence to Towanda's husband and some alleged offshore transfers that insiders are now calling a full multi-year concealment scheme. When the news hit that the FBI supposedly froze Towanda's business account, people thought that was the big finale, but that was only the first domino falling. According to insiders, investigators allegedly discovered that a portion of her skincare company's revenue was routed through a consulting firm under her new husband's name, the same man who now legally owns their Georgia home. That move, which she probably thought would protect their assets, allegedly blew up in her face in the worst way. Federal prosecutors are now viewing that transfer as a possible intent to conceal, and that's when things moved from shady to downright dark. People tied to Toni Braxton's team are claiming she quietly pulled her name out of all joint Braxton family ventures months ago, which now looks like she was distancing herself before the storm hit. Meanwhile, Tamar hasn't said much publicly, but what really hit fans emotionally was the resurfaced photos from Towanda's Bridgerton-themed bridal shower. Neither Tony nor Tamar showed up, and seeing those pics again made people realize this family tension didn't start with the FBI. It's been simmering for a long time. Back then, people assumed it was just petty sister tension. But now, it looks like Tony and Tamar were already pulling back for a reason. Because that was the same period the IRS allegedly sent a back tax warning to Towanda's household account. That letter reportedly triggered the first wave of federal attention, and suddenly the whole situation feels way different when you look at the timeline again. Some fans used to joke that the only thing keeping the Braxtons united was the cameras. And honestly, that feels painfully accurate right now. The family that once represented sisterhood goals is now tangled up in betrayal, federal fraud drama, and non-stop online chaos, which nobody ever pictured happening to them this loudly. Insiders are now saying Towanda's next court date might involve a plea deal, but only if she cooperates and hands over info on anyone who might have benefited from those filings investigators are digging through. Translation: if Tamar's money or Tony's assets touched any account tied to that paperwork, this situation could turn into something way bigger than just Towanda. Towanda, for her part, is reportedly denying everything, but her silence doesn't sound bold right now. It sounds calculated, almost like she's trying to protect someone or stall for time. And that's when it hit me. This whole situation stopped being about money a long time ago. This is about legacy, about the image they built together, and how fast it can fall apart when trust is gone. The Braxtons were once seen as America's most admired R&B family, 6 sisters singing about love, unity, and loyalty. But now the same shared fame that kept them shining might be the very thing that ends up tearing them apart. And honestly, the wildest part is this might not even be the end, because according to inside sources, the FBI's case file supposedly includes notes on multiple family-linked financial accounts that are still under review. If Tamar or Tony's names show up anywhere in those documents, investigators might call them in next, and that could flip this whole situation into a completely different level of chaos. If that happens, the Braxton legacy might never bounce back, because this is the kind of downfall no reality show could ever script. A family empire built on pure talent, shaken by money, and pushed to the edge by betrayal. This whole situation feels like it's still unfolding, and nobody knows who's about to get pulled into the storm next. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below, and I'll see you on the next one.